Most businesses do not adopt AI in a single deliberate program. They start with one use case. Now, often that use case is chosen because it feels contained, visible, or relatively easy to justify. It might be drafting emails, summarizing requests, or assisting with scheduling. Now, that first deployment may work well, and this often creates enthusiasm. Then something predictable happens. More ideas appear. People will notice adjacent problems. Vendors suggest extensions. Leaders begin to ask what else could be improved. And without a clear way of thinking about expansion, AI use starts to grow opportunistically rather than deliberately. And this is where many organizations come into trouble with stuff that doesn't really provide much value, needs a lot of management, and ultimately sucks up a lot of resources. So thinking about AI as a portfolio provides a way out of this pattern. The portfolio mindset recognizes that AI adoption is cumulative, that sequence matters, and that early decisions shape what becomes possible later. It's not necessarily about scaling quickly, it's about expanding responsibly. So in this video, I'll explain how to think about AI as a portfolio, how AI use typically expands over time, and why sequencing matters more than ambition. Now, treating AI as a series of isolated projects can work briefly, but it rarely scales well. So each project will tend to define its own assumptions about data risk, create local rules for review and escalation, and solve a narrow problem in isolation. As more projects are added, complexity grows. Governance decisions start to overlap. Dependencies appear between workflows that were never designed to interact. The organization ends up with multiple AI-assisted processes, but no coherent way to manage them together. A portfolio view will actually change this dynamic. Instead of treating each AI deployment as a standalone initiative, it treats each one as part of a growing system of capabilities. A portfolio is not a list of tools or subscriptions. It's a collection of AI-enabled workflows that support different parts of the business, carry different levels of operational risk, and deliver value in different ways. Some elements of this portfolio may focus on efficiency, such as reducing administrative effort. Others may focus on consistency, coordination, or decision support. Some may be customer-facing, while others may operate entirely internally. What matters is not uniformity. What matters is coherence. The portfolio should make sense as a whole, with shared principles for governance, review, and escalation. So in practice, AI portfolios will tend to expand in recognizable stages. Stage one is AI-assisted work. AI supports people by preparing drafts, summaries, and providing suggestions. Humans remain fully responsible for decisions and outputs. Stage two is semi-automated workflows. AI handles defined steps within a process, such as preparing inputs, routine work, or applying rules, while humans oversee key decision points. Stage three is embedded capability, where AI becomes a normal part of how work flows. Governance, monitoring, and exception handling are built into operations rather than being treated as special cases. Now, most businesses move through these stages gradually. Problems arise when organizations attempt to skip stages or treat early success as proof that more complex use cases will behave the same way. So the order in which AI capabilities introduced has lasting consequences, which is why sequencing matters more than scale. Early deployments establish trust in AI-assisted outputs, norms around review and override, and expectations about reliability and behavior. If early projects are too complex or too risky, confidence is damaged. Staff will become cautious or resistant, and leaders lose visibility into what is actually happening. In contrast, when early deployments are carefully chosen, later expansion becomes easier. Governance patterns are already in place. People understand how AI fits into their work. Exceptions are expected and handled calmly. Analogy I might have about having a portfolio approach would be that if you're building a house, you need a design and a blueprint, and you will build that sequentially. A non-portfolio approach would involve you maybe trying to install the insulation in the walls before you put the roof on, so when it rains, it's going to get wet and damaged. That's just a very simple example. A portfolio approach is structured, layered, and sequential in a logical way that is coherent. So how do you choose the right first elements in the portfolio? The best first elements in AI portfolio are usually low risk but high learning. They may involve drafting routine communications, preparing internal briefs, consolidating information from multiple sources, or supporting coordination between roles. These uses provide fast feedback and will surface governance questions early. They also allow the organization to practice reviewing AI outputs, handling uncertainty, and refining workflows without exposing the business to major downside risk. The learning gained from these early deployments is often more valuable than the immediate efficiency gains. Governance should evolve as the AI portfolio grows. Earlier on, governance will tend to focus on access controls, output review, and basic exception handling. As more AI-enabled workflows are added, governance expands to include monitoring performance trends, auditing behavior across workflows, and managing dependencies between AI uses. It also looks at clarifying ownership as responsibilities overlap. A portfolio mindset makes this evolution intentional. Governance is designed to scale rather than be patched together reactively. So risk doesn't disappear as AI use expands, it actually changes shape. A single AI deployment may pose limited risk. Multiple deployments interacting with core operations create cumulative exposure. Errors that are acceptable in isolation may compound when workflows depend on one another. So portfolio thinking helps organizations balance higher risk and lower risk uses. Avoid concentrating AI in sensitive areas too early and helps to maintain visibility over how AI is influencing outcomes over the business. Particularly important as AI becomes embedded in operational decision making. Now, a common failure is portfolio sprawl. This occurs when new AI uses are added opportunistically. Governance doesn't keep pace, and ownership becomes unclear. Over time, this can lead to brittle systems that can break easily and growing discomfort about what AI is actually doing. So a regular portfolio review and deliberate sequencing will help prevent this sprawl. New deployments are evaluated in the context of what already exists rather than on their own merits alone. So how do you measure the health of an AI portfolio? It's not measured solely by cost savings or by automation metrics. More meaningful indicators would include the stability of AI-assisted workflows, the clarity of ownership and accountability, the consistency of outputs, and confidence among staff using the systems. These indicators reveal whether AI use is sustainable and whether the portfolio can continue to grow without increasing fragility. So for business leaders, thinking in portfolio terms changes the questions being asked. Instead of asking, should we do this AI project? The question becomes, where does this fit in our AI portfolio and what does it enable next? This framing encourages calmer, more defensible decisions. It reduces pressure to chase trends and helps leaders focus on long-term capability rather than short-term novelty. When AI is managed as a portfolio, value compounds. Each deployment will reduce uncertainty for the next, improve your governance maturity, and strengthens organizational capability. Over time, AI will become a normal part of how work is done. It's no longer an experiment or a special initiative. It's simply part of operations. Thinking about AI as a portfolio recognizes that adoption is a journey rather than a single decision. When businesses sequence deployments deliberately, build governance over time, and learn from each step, AI becomes a durable operational capability rather than a collection of disconnected tools.